Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cadenny School. It's good to have everyone back. So we are continuing on our series on Python programming for beginners. In today's lesson, we would be treating an introduction to Python. So I think it's necessary for us to have an high-level knowledge of the language, just like a background to the language before we actually like jump into the syntax itself. And so that's what this very lesson is dedicated towards. Introduction to Python. First of all, let's understand what is Python. Python is a programming language, I believe. We must have known. It's actually an high-level programming language. High level in the sense that it's close to like the human language. It uses like English words compared to like the low-level languages that's mostly understandable by machines using zeros and ones. So that's what Python is. It's applied in like different fields. It's applied in like the artificial intelligence era, like for training models, and then for data analysis and the rest. Some persons use it for back-end engineering, like to write APIs. APIs are like functions that helps fetch and store data from maybe the database. That's a simple definition. So, but yeah, that's what Python is. By design, Python was made to be a simple and readable language. It was designed to be as close to English as possible, and we are going to be seeing that as we start jumping into the syntax, like learning the syntax of the language. Okay, so next, a brief history of Python. So basically, Python was actually started by someone, and that's the name is Guido van Rossum. Um, History says it was in 1991, actually. So yeah, the language. If you look at the documentation, like on the website, it was made or built or designed to be readable, to be as simple as possible, to be as close to English as possible. So, and yeah, again, we are going to be saying that in the syntax, how it's very close to like English. Today, there are like organizations that maintain the language, which includes the Python Software Foundation. And yeah, so they have a website which you could look up some things about the language. Next, why learn Python? Why learn Python? So it has to be your choice basically, based on like what you want to build, the application, where you want to apply the language to. But if you are actually interested in the AI space, then Python is a very good option for that. And usually, if you are like a beginner, if you are like a beginner, then you might want to start with Python as your first programming language because the syntax is it's beginner friendly. It's close to English, so you might want to start with Python as well. Yeah, there are like other advantages of writing the language. The language it's been used by like lots of people and lots of companies, and so there is like a lot of support for it. There are like communities and so many learning resources, just like the one we are creating now at Cadenny School, which you can easily look up and learn from. So next section we have here, what can you build with Python? That's the application of the language. Python is widely applied. So Python is used in building web applications. Like there are frameworks for that. For example, if you want to build APIs, application programming interface, again, it comes in here. That's like functions that you create to gain access to your database, store, retrieve, and maybe perform some functionality like within your backend. So if you want to build that, then there are frameworks for it. You have like Flask, for instance, which is used like in writing APIs. And Flask is written based off of the language Python. And then you have others actually like Django. Django, you could use it to write APIs as well. And then also you could even write like HTML within the framework, and it gives you the front end as well. So Python also is used for data analysis. Yeah, so when you get to the point where you need to like use a programming language apart from maybe using a spreadsheet, using Power BI and the rest, then Python is actually a good option as well if you want to do data analysis. Yes, so I mentioned again and again, artificial intelligence, it's a very good option for it. It's used like in that space, machine learning, deep learning, and all of that. So Python is very useful in automations, like from basic to advanced ones, like scraping the web. It gives you access to your computer resources. You can browse through files within your computer programmatically, and so it allows you to like automate some certain tasks. Desktop software, same thing. Python could be used, though rarely used, for that. Scientific computing. So yeah, Python is actually widely adopted in schools, in research labs as well, like for scientific purposes. Next, we have Python versions. So actually, Python has two major versions, and that's Python 2 and Python 3. Python 2 is actually like deprecated, it's no longer supported, and so Python 3 is what is being used right now, and that's what we'll be using for the course as well, and that's what you are equally advised to use. So I'll show you within the lesson how you can install Python 3 to get your system set up for development. So next, let's look at the Python interpreter. So Python uses an interpreter as opposed to like other languages that uses a compiler. For example, like C uses a compiler. So what's the difference between an interpreter and a compiler? An interpreter executes your code line by line. So once you're done writing your code, if the language uses an interpreter, in this case Python, it's going to be executing your code line by line. While for a compiler, once you're done writing your code and you run it, it's going to compile the whole code, like every line of code, everything you've written, compile it into like machine readable form before it now like executes it for you to see. So those are the differences. Next, we look at how to write a Python program. So for you to write a Python program, then you would have to create a file. Usually you use like a code editor. We would be using VS Code in this course. You create a file, and then once you hand the file, make the file extension to be .py, then that becomes like a Python file, and you should be able to run that file if you have everything set up. You have Python installed and you have your IDE or code editor. So here we have an example of a Python code, a simple Python code, and it says here print hello world. So it's so close to English. So basically this instruction is telling Python to write or display the phrase hello world onto the screen, and that's what it does. So yeah, that's how Python code is written. But again, don't worry, we would be writing the code ourselves once we are done with the intro and then the installation steps for Python, and we have everything set up. Python has documentations, and once in a while you would always need to go there to maybe look up something. So the official documentation for Python is here, docs.python.org. You can get there, to check out whatever you want. And then it's also downloadable actually. You can download it and then use it offline. If that's what you want, then you can use the second link. Okay, so that's it for our lesson, for this very lesson. And right now we would move on to the quiz to test our knowledge so far of what we've learned so far. So, but before then, if you haven't yet, please do well to subscribe. Our quiz, question number 1. You can pause the video and try to answer the question yourself. What type of programming language is Python? So you have 4 options here. It says low-level language, B says high-level language, C says assembly language, D says machine language. Okay, so Python is an high-level language. Question number 2. Python programs are usually saved with which file extension? What's the file extension? A says .java, B says .py, C says .js, D says .html. So here it's .py. Which function is commonly used in Python to display outputs on the screen? It's option C, print. Print hello world, if you can recall. So question number 4. Who created the Python programming language? Okay, so it's C, Guido van Rossum. And then the last question, question number 5. Which version of Python is recommended for modern development? Python 3. That's it for our lesson for today. Until next time, please do have a nice time.